It has never once hunted, not in its entire existence, not once. September 1903, the German research ship Valdivia was dragging trawl nets through black water off the coast of Sumatra, 700 meters down. Chun, the expedition's lead scientist, reached into the net and found something that didn't fit anything he knew. Jet black body, 8 webbed arms, eyes the color of deep arterial red. The smell of saltwater and formalin. He held it under the lamp and turned it slowly. He named it Vampyroteuthis infernalis, vampire squid from hell. The name felt right. The classification did not. Chun logged it as a cephalopod, obviously, but could not place it cleanly in any existing group. It had features of octopus, features of squid, features of neither. He wrote in Dicephalopodon in 1910, "The most remarkable feature of this animal is the web connecting the arms, which extends almost to their tips, and gives the creature the appearance of an 8-pointed star when spread. An 8-pointed star, hovering in the dark, doing nothing violent at all." 43 years later, a Yale biologist named Grace Pickford spent years dissecting every available specimen. Her conclusion, published in 1949, was precise and devastating. Vampyroteuthis cannot be satisfactorily placed in either of the 2 living orders of dibranchiate cephalopods. Not octopus, not squid, something else entirely. Science filed that finding and moved on. The name stuck, the wrong category stuck with it. The creature kept living 700 meters down, in oxygen so thin most animals cannot breathe it, eating something no predator would bother with. It survived unchanged while entire lineages rose and collapsed around it. That is the question this video is built on, not what it looks like, what it actually is. A single peer-reviewed genome paper, published in PNAS, will answer that. It will also explain why this animal eats what it eats, and why every classification system used for 2 centuries was structurally wrong from the start. For most of the 20th century, the answer seemed obvious. 8 arms, webbed mantle, soft body, file it under octopus, move on. Chun didn't quite move on. When he named Vampyroteuthis infernalis in 1903, he hedged immediately. He created a provisional holding category, order Vampyromorpha, because something in the anatomy refused to cooperate. Chun wasn't dramatic about it. He was precise, and precision told him the creature didn't fit. For 40 years, most taxonomists ignored the warning. Then, in 1946, Grace Pickford at Yale sat down with preserved specimens and a magnifying glass and started measuring. What she found dismantled the consensus quietly, methodically, the way real science usually works. No octopus carries a gladius, the internal shell remnant inherited from ancient cephalopod ancestors. Vampyroteuthis does. That single structure ruled out octopoda entirely. But the filaments finished it. Richard Young documented them formally in 1988, 2 retractile filaments extending far beyond the arms, covered in sensory papillae. No octopus has them, no squid has them. Young wrote that they appeared to function as sensory structures for detecting marine snow aggregations. This animal carries anatomy no living relative possesses, not a variation, not a modification. Something structurally different at the root. The staticists, the balance, organs, were wrong too. Structured differently from both squid and octopus. Same body plan, different blueprint underneath. Pickford's 1949 conclusion was blunt. Vampyroteuthis cannot be satisfactorily placed in either of the 2 living orders of dibranchiate cephalopods. She said it plainly. The field took decades to agree. So the octopus answer was wrong. The squid answer was wrong. The anatomy ruled out every living order science had. Which left one question. If it belongs to neither branch of the cephalopod family tree, how far back does its own branch actually go? Here is what the genome confirmed. In 2012, a team led by Lindgren published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences the first rigorous multi-gene molecular phylogeny of cephalopods. They sequenced across the group. They mapped the branches. Vampyroteuthis infernalis fell off every known tree. Not octopus, not squid, not cuttlefish, a separate branch entirely, Vampyromorphidae, diverged from all living cephalopod lineages at least 300 million years ago. Every classification system built across 2 centuries was wrong. One paper, done. Remember the creature pulled from the Valdivia's nets in 1903? That black webbed thing Carl Chun couldn't name? This is what it actually was. A sole survivor. The last living member of an entire order, drifting alone through 700 meters of cold, dark water, while everything that shared its ancestry died out. But here is what nobody expected. This ancient thing, built like a predator, red-eyed and cloaked in black, does not hunt, not once. Instead, it extends a single retractile filament, coated in mucus, and waits for marine snow to stick to it. Dead cells, fecal pellets, shed skin, particles of the dead, falling from above. It eats what nothing else will touch. Its metabolic rate is the lowest of any cephalopod alive. Oxygen levels below 3% of surface concentrations, zones that kill other animals, are where it lives comfortably. Evolution didn't optimize it for speed or aggression. It optimized it for survival on almost nothing. And instead of ink, it ejects bioluminescent mucus, a slow, expanding blue-white cloud glowing in the black water. The photophores covering its mantle fire independently, creating rippling light patterns that move and reverse. Science cannot fully decode what those patterns mean. Not camouflage, not mating signals, not distress. Unknown, a language with no translator, spoken in the dark. Lindgren's paper didn't just reclassify one animal, it forced a question. If one sole survivor lineage drifted undetected for 300 million years, classified wrong for 200 of them, how many more are down there, alone in their order, unnamed, eating what falls? That eye, enormous and red, holding still in the ROV beam, sees something. We just don't know what yet. If you found this fascinating, subscribe. We investigate strange, real creatures like this every single day.